Imagine this. You wake up in Lisbon, sun through the windows, coffee on the balcony, your American salary, zero local income tax. Now imagine. That's not a dream. That's a visa. As of late 2026, over 47 countries have launched or upgraded official remote work visa programs, and some of them are practically begging American professionals to come live there. The golden age of nomadic work just shifted gears, and if you're still using 2024 playbooks, you are already behind. Welcome back to Global Destination Decode, the channel that gives you the honest, data-driven truth about every destination before you pack your bags. Today, we're going deep on one of the biggest lifestyle shifts happening right now for Americans who work remotely. We're going to break down the top countries offering nomadic visas in late 2026, what they actually give you, the real tax advantages, and, most importantly, which ones are worth your time and which are just marketing. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly where to go, what to expect, and how to take advantage of the single biggest legal wealth transfer most Americans have never heard of. Here's something nobody in mainstream media is talking about. The old tourism model, where a country survives on 2-week vacationers, buying overpriced souvenirs and sleeping in hotels, that model is collapsing. After the pandemic broke the global travel industry's spine, governments around the world ran the numbers, and what they found changed everything. A cruise ship brings 3,000 tourists. They each spend maybe $150 a day on shore. They leave. The economy feels nothing sustainable, but one remote worker living there for 6 months, spending on rent, groceries, restaurants, transport, healthcare, that person injects 10 times more into the local economy. And governments figured this out simultaneously. What economists are now calling the resident guest economic framework started in Barbados in 2020 with the world's first remote work welcome stamp. By 2026, it has evolved into a full-scale global competition. Think of it like this. Countries are now running what experts call a global talent auction, actively outbidding each other to attract remote professionals, software engineers, AI specialists, and content creators. Tax breaks, free co-working spaces, fast-tracked permanent residency, even second passports. The question is, which countries are offering the real deal and which ones are just dangling bait? Let's start in Europe, because in 2026, Europe raised the bar for every other region. Estonia has been ahead of the curve since 2014, but their 2026 e-residency update, that's a different animal. We're talking about fully decentralized business banking, meaning you can run an EU-registered company from anywhere in the world with zero corporate tax on profits you reinvest back into the business. Zero. But Estonia is just the tech backbone. The real lifestyle upgrade is happening further south. Portugal, Greece, and Croatia, what I'm calling the Mediterranean Trio, now offer fast-track permanent residency after just 24 months of documented remote work. Not 5 years, not 10, 24 months. Portugal's NHR tax regime, upgraded in 2025 and refined in 2026, still gives qualifying Americans a flat 20% tax rate on Portuguese source income and exemptions on a lot of foreign source income. Greece went even further. Their digital Nomad visa now comes with a 50% income tax discount for the first 7 years. 7 years. And here's something most people completely miss. The EU launched a cross-border Nomad insurance mandate in early 2026. What that means for you is that a single health insurance policy purchased in one EU country now covers you in all 27. No more paying for separate travel health insurance every time you cross a border. Europe is no longer just a vacation destination. It's a business strategy. Now, let's talk about the region that moved the fastest in 2026. Southeast Asia has always been popular with nomads because of the low cost of living, but in 2026, it leveled up from affordable to strategically elite. Thailand and Vietnam just completed the rollout of dedicated 10 gigabit fiber corridors in their major nomad hubs. We're talking about Chiang Mai, Bangkok, Da Nang, Ho Chi Minh City, now running infrastructure speeds faster than most American offices. Why? Because these governments realized something. The next wave of remote workers isn't just Zoom calling. They're running AI pipelines, rendering 3D environments, processing massive data sets. And those workers need industrial-grade internet. Thailand's Smart City Visa program, and this is the one I'm most excited about, includes access to subsidized co-living spaces, community hubs, and an income tax rate of 0% on foreign-sourced income. If you're earning in US dollars and living in Chiang Mai, the Thai government is essentially saying, "We don't want your tax money, we just want you here." Vietnam took it one step further with what's being called the Vibe Check application process. And yes, that's the actual unofficial nickname. Their new Nomad visa uses blockchain verification to confirm income and identity. The whole application takes under 48 hours. Asia used to be a budget nomad playground. In 2026, it's becoming a serious professional hub. All right, this is the section I promised you pay attention. One of the most significant and least publicized financial shifts in 2026 is the expansion of international tax treaties that specifically protect nomadic workers. Before 2026, moving between 3 or more countries in a year was a tax nightmare. You could accidentally become a tax resident in multiple countries, double taxation, compliance penalties. It was chaos. Not anymore. A series of bilateral and multilateral 2026 tax treaties now explicitly define nomad workers as a protected mobile class, preventing double taxation across multiple jurisdictions. As a US citizen, you still file with the IRS, but what you owe can shrink dramatically depending on where you're living. But here's the part that will make your jaw drop. There is a group of countries, primarily in the Caribbean and Latin America, where a nomadic visa doesn't just give you residency. With certain income thresholds and professional categories, it becomes a legal pathway to a second passport, with minimal physical presence requirements. We're talking about countries like Paraguay, Panama, and several Eastern Caribbean nations that grant permanent residency almost immediately, and citizenship in as little as 3 years to verified remote workers meeting their income requirements. And some of these countries have zero tax on foreign-sourced income. Full stop. If you're an American earning remotely, software engineer, consultant, content creator, AI trainer, you can structure your life legally to bring your effective tax burden dramatically lower than staying stateside. I want to be very clear. This is not a loophole. This is the intended policy. These countries designed it this way. They want you. They built it for you. Now, let's talk about the operational reality, because the glamour shots on Instagram leave out a lot. The 2026 Nomad tech stack has become genuinely powerful. Satellite-linked portable mesh networks mean that even in rural areas of Southeast Asia or the Balkans, your connection is more stable than it was on a Manhattan fiber line in 2022. Universal nomadic health coverage, several private insurers and a few governments now offer this, gives you genuine emergency coverage in 190+ countries for a monthly cost that rivals what Americans pay for a mid-tier domestic plan. But here's what nobody warns you about in the nomadic sales pitch: digital fatigue. As nomadic hubs in Southeast Asia, Europe and South America have become mainstream, they've also become, in certain neighborhoods, crowded, commercialized, and isolating in a very specific way. You're surrounded by people, everyone's on a laptop, everyone's in the same WhatsApp groups, and yet you still feel alone. The nomads who thrive long-term are the ones who go deeper, who spend minimum 6 months in each place, learn some of the language, build real local relationships, and stop treating countries as aesthetic backdrops for their LinkedIn posts. And one more practical warning: diversify your permits early. Global labor laws are shifting constantly. The Nomad visa programs that exist in late 2026 may look completely different by 2028. The smart move is to get 2 or 3 different residency permits across different regions before the next major legislative shift. Okay, I need to say something that most travel channels will never tell you. The nomadic visa revolution is real. The tax benefits are real. The lifestyle upgrade is real. But here is what the YouTube thumbnails and the quit your job and travel forever crowd won't show you. Most of the countries offering nomadic visas are doing it out of economic desperation. When a small nation gives you zero tax residency, what they're hoping is that your spending and your social media presence will help them attract more people like you. You are a product of their nation branding strategy. That's not necessarily bad. The economics can genuinely benefit local communities when done right. But you have a responsibility as a nomad to spend locally, to learn the culture, to not price locals out of their own neighborhoods, because the countries opening their doors to you trust you with their most valuable asset, their home. So, should you pursue a nomadic visa in 2026? If you earn remotely and your income is in US dollars, the answer is almost certainly yes. The financial advantages available right now are genuinely historic. We haven't seen this level of policy competition between nations for mobile talent before. Who is this made for? If you're a software engineer, AI developer, designer, consultant, content creator, or any professional who works from a laptop, you are the exact person these governments designed their programs for. If you have a family and need stability, look at Portugal, Greece, and Malta, mature programs with serious infrastructure and excellent schools. If you're single and want adventure with financial upside, Thailand, Vietnam, and Colombia are your sweet spot. If building long-term wealth and a second passport is your goal, Panama, Paraguay, and the Eastern Caribbean nations are where international tax strategists are pointing right now. The window is open, but windows like this don't stay open forever. That's the full breakdown of the nomadic visa landscape in late 2026. If this changed how you think about where and how you live, hit that subscribe button right now, because we drop real, honest travel intelligence every single week on this channel. If you found this valuable, share it with one person you know who works remotely and hasn't figured this out yet. You might genuinely change their financial life. And now, here's where it gets interesting. We've talked about where remote workers are going, but what about the country that's been quietly watching all of this and just made a move that nobody expected? A country in Southeast Asia just announced a policy that makes every other Nomad visa look basic. We're talking free co-living, government-paid co-working, and a pathway to citizenship that takes just 18 months. Which country is it? That's in the next video. And trust me, you won't see this one coming.